The purpose of our video today is to explore the various means for resolving conflicts that occur in our lives. Think about conflict and what it means to you.
Challenging your ideas or your beliefs or just, your comfort zone, I guess, with other people and how you interact with them.
I'd say conflict is when two people don't agree about an issue or a decision that's been made.
Conflict is when, to me, is when you're not in agreement with something, if you have difference of opinions and, both parties aren't seeing the same view.
When just people have an argument or there's a misunderstanding or a disagreement on an issue.
Whenever priorities contradict one another, personal priorities, I would think, because I think that sparks the conflict because people are striving towards certain things, or I guess also different notions of how certain priorities should be attained.
When people or groups can't get along, and that can be based on disagreements or really just differences in philosophy.
How do you handle conflicts that come up in your life?
I find it's best, just to, avoid it whenever you can. If I couldn't ignore or avoid it, though, I would face it head on, though.
You try to deal with conflict in a peaceful manner, like sitting down and talking to someone about both sides of the issue and coming to a conclusion about it.
I personally deal with conflict by just keeping my mouth shut. That doesn't necessarily go for everybody, but I deal better by just keeping to myself personally.
Usually, if I have a conflict with somebody else, I usually confront them in a quiet setting. I don't try to make a big scene or anything, because it can be pretty embarrassing if, you're there yelling at each other and everybody's staring at you.
I think it all depends on the situation, really. Simple conflict, there's a lot of times easy ways to resolve it through compromise, but other times it takes a lot more effort, but you really kind of have to work with it, because with conflict you're not going to get anything done.
Thinking things through and trying to work things out within myself, and if there's someone else, trying to go to that person and talk to them.
My experience, I think the best way to deal with it is to talk, to debate, engage in discourse, as opposed to other less productive means.
I usually put my head down.
Personally, I deal with conflict by running away from it, but as a manager, I deal with it by trying to get people to talk to each other. Not always successful if their philosophies are completely diametrically opposed.
Before we explore how to resolve conflict, it's helpful to understand what conflict is in a definitional and not an emotional sense. Conflict, simply put, is an expressed struggle between at least two interdependent parties who perceive incompatible goals, scarce resources, and interference from others in achieving their goals. Think about the relationships that you're going to experience over the course of your lifetime, those with family, friends, co-workers, and then think about how you generally feel when you're in a conflict situation. Most people describe the feelings in conflict as anger, fear, frustration, hopelessness. These are very natural feelings that we experience. But don't they impact the quality of the relationships, particularly when you consider that none of the relationships you have are ever going to be conflict-free? So let's keep the definition of conflict in mind as we now begin to look at various ways of resolving conflict by exploring these scenarios.
This is our second year rooming together. Our first year was pretty rough, but we worked through things. Or at least I did. For example, the first time that I got to move into the room, I found the whole room was taken over, completely packed. There was no more room for my stuff, or for me for that matter. Now, things have gotten really bad. We're not really talking. Nikki can be so inconsiderate sometimes.
I don't know what Heather's problem is. She hardly speaks to me anymore. I don't know if she's depressed or upset about something. I wonder if maybe she's mad at me.
So last weekend, Nikki brings this guy back to our room. She meets some guy in, some bar, and she expects to, let him stay the night. Does she ask me? Oh, no. Aside from the fact that my respect for her has fallen to an all-time low, this whole situation has made me really uncomfortable.
All she ever does is study. She's always in the room. It's gotten so bad that I don't want to bring anyone over because she's so rude to all of my friends.
So she's always on my computer. My computer, I might add. My friends and my family are always complaining that they can't get through because the line's always busy. Does this bother her? Oh, of course not. It's been difficult, but I'm proud of how I've been handling the whole situation. I mean, I don't want to start an argument or a fight. I mean, what would that solve? At least now I know that that we have a problem. I just, it's too bad that Nikki doesn't want to work on it. I'm here whenever she wants to talk.
Well, for a while there I was really worried that Heather was mad at me for something. But things are getting a lot better. We're arguing a lot less, and things are going really smooth. And I know that if she had a problem, she would tell me. I just hope she's okay. She's so quiet.
Here we've seen an example of conflict avoidance. In avoidance, people deny that a problem exists or ignore it, hoping it will go away. There are times that this is perfectly appropriate, particularly if there's no relationship of value or if it seems better served for someone else to resolve the dispute. However, avoidance also has its disadvantages. We're not resolving the problem, and sometimes a decision is going to be made without our input, thus a loss of influence in the relationship.
So last year the four of us were the best of friends. And this year when we all decided to move off campus, there was no doubt in who to room with.
I mean, Sherry's great to hang around with, but as a roommate...
First of all, she's a slob.
We're supposed to share all of the chores, but lately I've been doing most of her chores myself.
I mean, we all do. You've seen the dishes after she's supposed to have washed them. It's gross. And don't forget about the bathroom.
But now it's getting worse. This is the second month in a row that she hasn't paid her part of the rent on time, and she never pays her part of the phone bill.
And last week we found out she made a duplicate key of our apartment for her boyfriend, so now he comes and goes as he pleases.
But we can't say anything, because to her, everything is just fine.
Sherry, we all got together and were talking about the chores around the house. And we wanted to come up with a system that would be fair for everyone. So we created this cleaning schedule.
I didn't know we were having a problem with the way
and we also thought it would be a good idea to have some sort of a penalty or a fine if someone forgot to do their assigned chores for the week.
Like a larger portion of the rent or something.
Oh, and by the way, I was over at Legal Services for something or another, and I just happened to find out that it was illegal to make a duplicate key for someone who doesn't pay rent, so I just thought you'd want to know.
Well, it wasn't easy. It was terribly uncomfortable, but it had to be done. At least now she knows where we stand. We've done our part, and now it's up to her. We don't want to be mean, and we don't necessarily want her to move out, but she needs to help out.
Well, I knew we weren't getting along, but I didn't think they actually hated me. For them to gang up on me like that was so not cool. Apparently, I don't get a vote or a say in what goes on in our apartment, and I pay a fourth of the rent. If they're gonna be like that, why should I follow their stupid schedule or pay my rent on time? Screw them.
Here we've seen an example of competition. In competition, we treat the conflict as a battle to be won or lost. Again, there are times that this is a perfectly appropriate solution, such as if that style is going to be rewarded or if decisive or immediate action is necessary. There are disadvantages to competition, however, as it strains and damages relationships and tends to encourage covert actions.
Okay, so we'd been going out for 6 months, and everything was fine, everything was A-okay, and then out of nowhere she decides that she wants to just be friends.
Things in our relationship had been going rough for quite a while. It was obvious to everyone. Our friends, my parents, well, everyone except for Mike. He just didn't get it. Tried to talk me out of it and wouldn't take no for an answer.
Okay, then it got really confusing. It was like one day we were boyfriend and girlfriend, and the next day she didn't want to have anything to do with me.
I still care about him and I don't want to hurt his feelings. It's just the whole friendship thing doesn't seem to be working out. And he just keeps acting like everything's the same when it's not. It's changed.
Hey.
Oh, hey, how are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm all right.
I'm actually glad I ran into you. Dinner tonight. I was thinking maybe afterwards we could go to my apartment and watch a movie, maybe?
Oh, I was kind of thinking more along the lines of going to the coffee house and seeing some friends, playing some cards, you know.
Oh, just I wanted to talk. Just a one-on-one thing.
Oh.
Not about anything serious, just...
I have a really big test that I have to study for, but I can come over for a little while.
Okay. Cool, alright, well, I guess I will see you later then.
Alright. He just doesn't get it. What is it with all this serious stuff and alone time? Like, he says he knows we're just friends, but he sure doesn't act like it. He acts like nothing has changed. He doesn't care about my needs, and he doesn't care about me.
Okay, I was really worried that things weren't going to work out, but now I'm really hopeful. I mean, it seems like she said she just wanted to be friends, but now it seems like we're more than that, and I'm really happy.
Here we've seen accommodation. In accommodation, we deny our own needs and give up to the other person's stated position in the conflict. Again, there are times that this may be perfectly appropriate, particularly if we perceive that the relationship is more important than the actual issue in conflict. It also makes sense to accommodate when we're wrong, not that we often think about it. However, accommodation also carries disadvantages, because what happens is we do give in to the other person's stated position and we don't get anything in return. Again, we can suffer a loss of influence in that relationship.
I have two groups of friends that I'm very close to. I'm the type of person that gets along with everyone, so these two groups are like night and day. They don't really get along at all. Okay, they hate each other. I mean, it was fine for a while. I just tried to ignore it. But lately, it's getting out of control. I feel like I'm stuck in the middle and they want me to choose. And apparently, I can't be a friend to both. Hey, Karen, what's up? A couple of my friends are coming by tonight and we're going to hit a few parties afterwards. You want to come with? No. Trish and Carrie aren't going to be there. I know. They did what? You know what, just tell me about it later, okay? All right, see you tonight. Bye. Hey, Trish, what's up? We're still on for Friday, right? Cool. Tonight? Oh, I'd love to, but I'm swamped with so many other things tonight. Yeah, I've got a big paper due at the end of the week. But I'll see you on Friday, okay? All right. I know. But what else am I supposed to do? I'm not going to give up either friendship, and I'm tired of dealing with it. I'm just trying to be as fair as possible and to divide my time as equally as possible. Sometimes it feels sneaky and underhanded, and I hate lying, but I have no choice. So I arrange it that these two parts of my life never meet. Their paths never cross. Problem solved.
Here we've seen an attempt to compromise. When compromising, we're trying to find a reasonable middle ground that will satisfy all parties. Or we add it up and divide by 2. This can be an effective way to deal with a conflict, particularly when we need an immediate solution that doesn't require much in the way of time or energy. However, compromise also has its disadvantages. Can everything be compromised? Doesn't compromise require us giving something up? Sometimes that something is important.
It's not like we don't drink or party ourselves, but Derek takes it to a whole nother level.
Tell you the truth, I'm kind of concerned about the guy.
Yeah, he might be depressed or something. And if it was just the drinking.
But it's not just the drinking. And it's not just the weed either. The guy's a walking medicine cabinet.
At our last party, the guy could barely stand up.
He got in an argument with this other guy, started swinging his fists everywhere, ended up putting his arm right through the wall.
Don't forget about the cigarette burn on our couch.
For a while, we just laughed it off. But now it's starting to get serious. If we don't do something soon, someone's gonna end up getting hurt.
Yeah, right. Like he's actually gonna listen to us.
I know. But I don't think we have a choice. Maybe we need to get someone else involved to help out.
I'd like to begin this mediation session today by reviewing the mediation process and a few of the ground rules that we will be following today. First, I'd like to start off with our names. My name is Brad. This is Lindsay. We'll be your mediators today. And is it all right for us to use your first names?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure.
And your name is?
I'm Derek.
Joe.
I'm Brad.
And I'm Paul.
Mediation is a process in which people attempt to resolve their differences with the assistance of a neutral third party. Mediation agreements are usually more satisfying and longer lasting than other methods of resolving conflict. And us as mediators are just going to be here to facilitate communication between the two parties. And I would like to commend all of you for being willing to come in and partake in this mediation today.
During the session, we will be taking notes. The notes are only for the purpose of helping us assist you guys to solve this dispute, and they will be destroyed at the end of the process today. We encourage you guys to take notes so that if you are disagreeing or if you just think of something that you want to add, when somebody else is speaking, you'll have that written down. You were provided with pen and paper so that you could do that. And we could take as much time today as we need to solve this. We could take breaks whenever you guys would like to, either party, Derek or Joe, Brad, and Paul. Are there any time restrictions that you guys are aware of right now?
No.
Today?
No.
Nope.
Derek?
No.
Okay.
I'd like to start off with Joe. Can you tell me what brought you into mediation today?
Well, Derek and all of us, we're roommates and we share an apartment. And basically what's been happening is Derek's been getting a little out of control with his alcohol and his drug intake. And it's been doing damage on our friendship, on like physical safety and especially property damage.
Okay. Thank you. Derek, what brings you into mediation today?
Well, the guys, they came up to me and they told me that they were having problems with my drinking, and they said I had several problems with the partying. And also there's the issue of the hole I punched in the wall and a cigarette burn on the couch and unpaid bills.
Okay, so it sounds like we've come up with a list of issues. One being property damage, one being your physical safety of all the roommates, and third, the condition of the friendship currently. I was wondering if we could move now to the brainstorming process, and if we could come up with some ideas on just how to solve them. Whether they work or not for you right now is something we'll get to later, so just throw out whatever ideas you guys can think of for settling the $450 issue.
Okay. Well, I know me and the guys, we'd like the money right now. We're all kind of hurting. We could use it.
So immediate payment?
Right.
Okay.
Well, I think that an installment plan would work out a lot better for me than, paying everything up front.
Okay.
Okay, guys, this is great. It looks like we've come up with an agreement, and we have set up payment plans, and your concerns about physical safety were addressed, and that you guys are going to have a good time living together again. Thank you for coming, and I hope that everything works out as well as it did today.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot. This will help so much.
Here we've seen an example of collaboration. When collaborating, we engage in open and honest and constructive dialogue with each other, seeking to generate new and creative solutions that satisfy everyone involved. This is particularly helpful in relationships of value and with issues that are important to us. However, collaboration is not always the answer. It does take a great deal of time and energy, and when dealing with some people, particularly those who are competitive, those who collaborate can appear to be weak. We've seen examples of all 5 basic conflict resolution styles, and now we'd like to offer a light-hearted, quick reference guide to remembering those basic strategies. Imagine that you have a cookie, and there are 2 of you that want it. When avoiding the problem, our response might be, "Cookie? What cookie? I didn't want that cookie anyway." If we're practicing competition, our response is, "That's my cookie," or "You'll get that cookie over my dead body." Practicing accommodation, we would simply give up and say, "Go ahead, you can have the cookie," and then we'd walk off muttering. When compromising, we'd simply agree to chop the cookie in half. But with collaboration, what we would realize is that we should have made more cookies, or that maybe we want to make more cookies right now. Hopefully, by having an understanding of the basic conflict resolution strategies and an understanding of the definition of what conflict is, this will be able to assist you as you face conflicts in your future.